Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 73 entitled Energies. So this is the third video regarding this topic, very important, which is energies, included in a higher perspective of 4 pillars that I baptize invisible worlds. So the first one, energies. The second theme will be the hereafter. The third one will be egregores, archetypes, and so on and so forth, entities. And the last one will be aliens. All right, so let's come back to this point of energies. We saw how important is energy for many reasons, because to make it short, everything is basically energy. My body, my cells, the nature in general, the human relationship, everything, the emotion, the affects, the feelings, everything, this is vibration, this is emotion that we could measure in a certain extent with hertz, for instance. Light, colors, everything is energy. That's why Nikola Tesla, the great scientist, explained that if you want to find the secret of the universe, things in terms of energies, frequencies, and vibration. So it means everything and also nothing, because if everything is energy, in which extent it affects my daily life. So we try to see different perspectives, maybe more down to earth before. Today we can more focus on the notion of let's say spirituality, okay, among the energies among the spiritualities. So as I said, also just as a fresh reminder, as Einstein said, there is no matter, okay? What we call matter is basically some energy and vibration which has been highly reduced to be perceptible to our senses. And he concludes by, there is no matter. Okay, so even that is not matter, and I insist quite a lot with that. Okay, so let's try to see in spirituality, vibration. We could say, I know that there is a slight difference between vibration, energies, and frequencies, but let's try to consider is almost equivalence. So the notion of vibration in spirituality, you have it. Okay, this is what we saw also with the experiments of Masaruemoto, you know, with the rice and water. If, for example, you do the experience of with water, and you you say some positive messages like I love you and so on, it's gonna be harmonious. We will have to see if we crystallize water at a very tiny scale, we would see some very harmonious patterns. On the other way around, if we send bad emotion, bad energy towards this water, it will be completely disharmonious. We are made of 70% of water, so we crystallize the water within us, crystallize our mindset, our state of mind, meaning thereby that it has a lot of impact, a lot of influence. Why? Because if you're always saying I'm ugly, I'm pissed off and so on, you vibrate that, so people don't really like you because of that. And then life in general, you send also a message to the universe, to the source and so on, and you co-create your reality for which life is struggling, is more difficult, and so on and so forth. So when you see, even in English, when you see there is notion of high frequencies and low frequencies, a bit like the fact, for example, when you say in English light, okay, when you are enlightened, okay, this is the extreme, but light is the weightness less, right? Okay, you are almost flying. Ascension is the fluidity due to your vibration, nothing to see with Peter Pan, you fly in the sky and you're Superman, nothing to see with that. So light is the notion to be, let's say, to have higher frequencies. And light is also the notion of, let's say, the photons, okay? Is not innocent if both are have the same sound. This is what we call in English the language of birds, and or the green language. You have a green language, a hidden part of different sounds in each languages, okay? But anyway, on the other way around, when you say, for example, matter, okay, the tangibility, the density, matter is also a problem, complexity, and so on. Okay, to make it short, we could say there is a duality between the lower energies, which are, let's say, more linked to density from fragmentation, segmentation, and on the other way around, the higher, let's say, the higher vibration are due to unity, let's say, the great all, and so on, harmony, and so on and so forth. All right, so this notion of individuality and duality is very important, because this is the basis of existence. Yin, yang, Ida, Pingala. Okay, necessarily for having an existence, you need effort and the contrary. Okay, so it's the principle of physics, but it's also, this is the dynamic of the universe. Okay, so keep this in mind. When you see the yin and the yang, there is a dynamic. Okay, that's why you have it also in the streams. Okay, in the sea, in the oceans. If you would have only the same temperature, you wouldn't have this Gulf Stream and so on, and thereby no climates, and thereby no life possible. Okay, so why I'm precising that is duality is existential for life. Existing, to exist, means literally to separate. So, as I told you several times, the metaphor, we would come from the great all, the everything, okay, the unity, Y-O-U, unity, everything, okay, we have separated from it to experience, to make the experience of matter, separation. I am this person, you are this one, I am here, you are there, okay, to experience the fact that space-time unfolds, okay, over the time, and also there is space between different events that we call time. I refer to the key 15 and 16, very important. Okay, so, but the notion of duality is, as I mentioned several times, is like if the great all, God and so on, would be as a painting, and thereby the painter, the creator, and the characters, the characters, and the landscape. But how come? How do you do? If you are like this, to paint is difficult. You need to step backwards. So it's the same principle. We have been obliged to make this separation, okay, of the unity, to find it back individually within this life. Okay, I hope it's clear for you. Let's continue with this notion of energies as well. Very important is the four elements. Okay, the four elements in Western countries. So there is water, air, earth, fire. Except that there is one which is hidden and part of Eastern philosophy. The Chinese, they call it qi. Literally in Mandarin, in Chinese, it means energy. Okay, you find it back. You can find it in Tai Chi, Qigong. Okay, this practice of activation of the qi. Okay, which is a kind of, the dragon is this. Is just invisible force that you activate within. Okay, and which is prevalent. Reiki in Japanese is the same. Ki, chi is very close. Japanese and regarding this point, this is the prana for Hindus, and it has been let's say forgotten from the West culture. But it exists. This is what we called ether, E-T-H-E-R, okay, from the Greek philosophy. Platon, Pythagoras, all of them, they evoke this. And what is this? This is the fifth element. I explain just after what is it, but Max Planck evoked Max Planck, Nobel Prize of Physics in 1918. He said the following: all matters come from a force and exist only by it. We must assume the existence under this force of a conscious and intelligent spirit. This spirit is the matrix of all matter. To make it short, ether, the fifth element, would be a kind of common threads, encompassing, entangling, interconnecting everything to everything else. Okay, that's why we say very often, we are all one, we are all united, and so on. Yes, but in which extent? Invisibly, we are coming from. This is what we call a quantic entanglement. Quantic entanglements is the fact that once particles have been linked energetically, they are connected forever. That's why, as it's supposed to come from the Big Bang, the single point, the point of singularity, which then had been an extension, but at the beginning we have been all connected. So we continue to be through these patterns, this framework, this common thread, whatever. It's a visible one, of course, but reconnecting every individuals, every part of the nature, animals, even the events from the past and so on. This is really interesting because it's reinforced the fact that the consciousness experience itself through the individual consciousness, okay? Because it's a kind of filter. I had told you many times, it's difficult to watch 2 movies at the same time. Imagine to watch 10 movies at the same time is impossible. So imagine you would be the consciousness in different lives of different people. You are only within one life as a filter, just to watch only one movie. And it's already very complex to understand the movie sometimes and to behave and so on. A word to a wise. Let's continue, go further. You know, the notion of the cult of sun. Ivanov, a great wise from Gnosticism in Bulgaria, then he lived in France and so on. His master is Peter Deneuve. I invite you to do some research because it's not really known, but he will be more in the future. Sorry, probably like Neville Goddard and all these kind of incredible people. Anyway, he said the following: the universal principle is at the origin of all religions. The symbol of the universal religion is sun. All religions come from the sun. They are offshoots of the sun religion. Before human appeared, the sun was there. But he tried to explain why the sun is so important. The sun, without sun, you don't have energies. You don't have, let's say, the temperature for the food, for nature, blossom, and so on and so forth. So that's why it has been so prevalent in a lot of spirituality, religion, culture, and so on. When you see the Essenes, the mystical Jews, the Gnosticism, that's to say the initial mystics from Christianities, same for Sufi and so on, they are really focused all the time with sun, not with association, but just as a metaphor. You know, the first monotheism, is from Akhenaten, okay, is 14th century before Jesus Christ. Okay, concretely, he took Aton, okay, let's say the god sun, just to make it understandable for different people. Like one sun ray is accessible to anybody on earth, okay, like unity, okay, because before that, they were in Egypt, 44 small gods, okay, ability of God, and 44 other ones. So he was afraid of an eventual civil war and so on. But what I try to tell you is this notion of sun and also the notion of light is really prevalent in all kind of spirituality, not for innocent reason. also because light is a metaphor. There is the light of the photons, of course, but also there is the subtle light that we call in Hebrew aur. It is equivalent to Semitic language in Arabic el-nur, nur, okay? Nur, aur, almost the same. It means the divine lights. And probably, what I try to bounce back to the initial point, is probably prana as well, chi, and so on, encompassing everything. Okay? And this is the quest of the alchemists, okay? When there is not gold they are looking for. They are looking for this subtle energy, okay? Well, let's try to continue a little bit more with the notion of law of attraction, which is prevalent, very important in most spirituality. And which is, what is it concretely? It's the law of attraction is a technique of visualization. You can refer, if you want to deepen a little bit, on the key 36 and or 38. I don't remember anymore. So what is it concretely? It's to see a scenario, okay, a simulation, and as real. You visualize and you feel it's real, okay, by projecting yourself into it. This is to activate also some energies for which to shift and probably to access to this scenario, among others, like the multiverse. You know, when Einstein say match the frequency of the reality you want to get, and you cannot stop getting it. It is not science. It's not philosophy. It's science. Okay, so match the frequency of the reality, and you cannot stop getting it. What does it mean? It means you vibrate positively, and so on. Maybe you shift. Shifting, very important word as well. So this is also echoing quantum mechanics, despite the fact quantum mechanics is as a tiny scale. But what about consciousness? Consciousness, there is a scale for that? No. So I'm gonna make it. I don't want to shorten or to let's say to use a shortcut for quantum mechanics, but concretely, quantum mechanics is a principle that our reality is plural. All what we have is particle and wave of potential, a field of potential. Okay, so it's like, imagine a sphere of consciousness, okay, a sphere with many dots, and the quantum collapse is the fact that let's say the field becomes only a particle. It means one state among an infinity. To make it another parallel, is like only one drop instead of the complete wave or the complete ocean. Okay, that's why, once again, when Rumi said you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean within a drop, it's referring to that roughly, but it's more complex because there's also the notion of resonance. Let's try to forget about that. Just to tell you the slit, the experience of the Young slits you can find on the internet, is the fact that the observer has an impact on the results of the experience, the experiment. So, to make it short, so what does it mean? It means that in a certain extent, the law of attraction, if you are skeptical for certain things, it will fail. It will not happen because of you. And on the other way around, if you are positive, favorable for something, your mindset is positive and so on, it will affect as a principle of co-creation. So, law of attraction, to make it short, is a notion of magnetism. Magnet, you attract, okay? You remember what I said to you many times. Buddha say, what you vibrate, you attract, what you think, you co-create, and so on and so forth. Is this principle. So, the co-creation is the fact there is no notion of performance, and also the co-creation means co-creation in collaboration with the consciousness, okay? Accessing to your demand, but the consciousness doesn't judge positive, negative, this is good, bad, and so on. That's why those who are completely convinced of what they are doing, good or bad, they are satisfied, and they are, their dreams come true. Well, let's continue a little bit further. What is abundance? Abundance is also linked to this notion of law of attraction, but what concretely is abundance? I love to say happiness is not to get all what you want, but to be satisfied with what you have. It's a cliche a little bit, but it's very important because it's a new paradigm. It's a new, probably the transition of the 5D and so on, the new world that we, more qualitative and so on. We will be invited probably to renounce to have 12 cars, dozen of villas, 365 dress or trousers or suits and so on. You understand my point? We all do agree that what we have been sold in a quota mark by credit, the materiality is not, is not the finality of happiness. It can contribute, of course. It's a fuel allowing, I have a key 48 or 40, I don't remember, about money. It's just an energy. It's not the finality, is a springboard, is a servant, is not a master. Unfortunately, some people, for them, they are completely addicted to it. And so we know by heart that it doesn't bring happiness. Check the most of the stars. Most of the time they are neurotic, okay? So, important also the notion of abundance. The more you give, the more you receive in this law of attraction, okay? So, it means there is enough for everybody. But what is also important is to be inspired of nature in general. I told you in the previous videos, the system is bulimic. The system is always increasing and needs always more of more, okay? But what about us? When you check the trees, do you think they reach the sky? They cannot. Okay, there is a limit. Okay, we are in a limited world for which we want infinite, in a certain extent, growth, which is not possible. When you shout on a tree, do you think it will? It will grow up faster? No. So it's the same for all our system, pressurizing us and so on through many things. We also need to get it back to natural, organic principles. This is essential, okay? And even us, this is a nonsense to think that we always need to increase to reach sustainability. Is a paradox. Do you increase your plates for each dinner, lunch, and so on? Do you increase the number of meals every day? Imagine if you do that, after 1 month, probably you will have, you will eat 90 times a day, okay, 90 times meals, and you will have, 100 plates. You will finish completely fat, not in good health, and you will die quickly, okay? So this is not possible, but it's true for many things. That's why the key 44 inviting people to think about more qualitative word instead of exclusively a quantitative word, and so on, so far. In alchemy, it's said if you know how you're capable to make gold, you don't need any more. Okay. If you look for making gold, you will never succeed. If you are capable to do so, you don't need any more. Okay, this is, I invite you to think about that. So the principle of visualization is, if I do it shorter, actually this is like the athletes, they just visualize that they are doing a performance and so on, and it's successful. For example, the stadium is applauding and so on. They have the gold medal and so on, this kind of thing. But this is also in the coaching of life, development, personal development and so on. When you visualize a scenario, for example, a date, a meeting and so on, and it's successful. You see people applauding you, you feel confident and so on. This prepares your future for that. We can find it also. You have it, I gave you also some keys. It was in the reprogramming 39. I give you the techniques of self-hypnosis. So you can do and personalize by your own, or you can follow my voice. This is guide meditation, but you can use, the topic you want. Okay, and you have the techniques. Well, the mysticism, in the mysticism we find it back, this notion of what you think you attract and so on. The key, if I had to resume, you can find in the Bible, you can find in many places. The key is to visualize, okay, you conceptualize, you visualize with a maximum of details. And in parallel of that, second point, you feel within yourself through your senses, your 5 senses, your touch and so on, and your 6th sense. Okay, so that's to say you are doing like a loop in a certain extent. You visualize with your consciousness, then you feel. Okay, you feel with your emotions, your heart, and so on. And the cherry on the cake is to be grateful that is already there. Okay, this is simple key. This is the most important fruit of creativity, attraction, and so on, so far. You know, it's when I say it's a part of you have in the Bible when you make the 2 ones. You will become the Son of Man, and when you say mountain depart, you will depart. This is say through many ways. The 2 in 1 means that actually you have it in many ask and you shall receive and so on, which is positive and negative. I told you the dictatorship and so on, the evil people, as long as they are sure in what they are doing, they are convinced and so on, they are realized. Okay, that's one of the principles. The Neville Goddard, I really invite you to do some research or maybe read some books, because he's an incredible character. He explained differently. He say the great secret of prayer is to be thoughts, or to become a thought, rather than to think. It's a kind of question of becoming the information instead of activating the information. I don't know if you see the subtlety. He say differently, is probably more accessible. He say make your dream a present fact by assuming the feeling your wish granted. Okay, so it's the same principle when you have the Little Prince say turn your life into a dream and this dream into reality. Okay, so you're already visualizing your feeling and you're happy it's already there. But why is so important this? You know, then he says something very important. He say, Neville Goddard, okay, again, change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world you live in. Don't try to change people. They are only messengers who tell you who you are. Revalue yourself and they will confirm the change. It's very beautiful because it's really the notion of what I told you with Baal Shem Tov, the great Jewish mystic, and also the notion of the Celestine prophecy. You know that everything is notion of energy, the consciousness experience itself through us individually, and also everybody has a message because he's a messenger for you. Okay, so try to be in peace with other people, with the world, and then you will, let's say, put together the different pieces of the masterpiece to masterpiece, inner peace, outer peace, and to admire the masterpiece, the beauty of life, the living by experience. Well, I invite you to think about all this. I hope it will help you to shape your master key of consciousness, of love, of whatever you want. As you know, all the roads lead to Rome and to the Dome and to home as well. Thank you for your attention and see you very soon.